You have the game tape from his first 2 starts, which, it tells a much more complicated story.
It's that classic disconnect, isn't it? Potential versus actual production.
It is. So our mission for this deep dive is to sort of bridge that gap. We're not just going to read a stat sheet. We're trying to figure out if this practice squad hero can actually survive when the lights come on for real.
Okay, so let's set the stage. The profile. Jackson's a sophomore. He's out of LaPlace, Louisiana. Physically, you couldn't build a better corner in a lab. 6'2", 196 pounds.
He is the absolute prototype for a modern boundary corner. The guy who covers the short side of the field.
But that's the thing, right? His freshman year, he was basically invisible.
Completely. Buried on the depth chart. The fans didn't know his name, but inside the program, those reports were flagging him as a breakout candidate. They loved his instincts in press coverage.
His ability to jam a receiver right at the line.
Exactly, to disrupt the route from the jump. And the coaches were just preaching patience, saying, the flashes you see in practice, they'll translate.
And that's the hype. So fast forward to this season, game 1 against Georgia Southern, he finally gets the start.
In an overtime win, which is a great environment to debut in.
For sure. I'm looking at the box score here. 7 total tackles. Now, to the casual fan, that looks like a very busy, very productive first game.
See, and that is the trap of football analytics. For a defensive lineman, big stats are great. For a cornerback, high tackle numbers can be a bit of a red flag.
A lagging indicator, I think you called it.
That's it.
Yeah.
If you're making a tackle, it almost always means the receiver already caught the ball in front of you. 7 tackles tells me the other team's quarterback identified number 27 as the new guy and just decided to test him over and over.
So it wasn't him making plays, it was the offense making plays at him.
Precisely. Now, to his credit, the film shows he didn't shy away from contact. He's physical. But you could just see he was a step slow processing the game speed. It's one thing in a Tuesday practice.
It's another thing when it's live and chaotic. But Houston got the win, so his learning curve was kind of masked by the celebration.
Until come the next week, LSU.
Yeah. The wake-up call.
That's a different stratosphere of competition.
Yeah.
Houston takes the loss, and Jackson, well, he had a very long afternoon.
He gave up over 100 yards to LSU's number 1 receiver.
And look how the stats just completely flipped. Only 2 tackles this time. This wasn't about him being targeted and making a stop after the catch. This was him just chasing the play.
So what specifically went wrong when you look at the tape? Was it just that LSU is that much faster?
Speed was part of it, for sure. But the real issue that the breakdown highlighted was his eye discipline.
Okay, define that for us.
It's just about where you're looking. When you're inexperienced, you have this tendency to peek into the backfield. You want to see the quarterback, see where the ball's going.
And the second you do that,
you're beat. Against an SEC caliber receiver, the moment you take your eyes off your man to look at the QB, he makes his cut and it's over. The coaching notes specifically mentioned poor angles and bad eyes. All those great practice traits just vanished under that pressure.
So you have this physical specimen who's struggling with the mental side, the processing speed. Which brings us to this week, the upcoming game against FCS Midwest. What are the stakes for him here?
This is the pivot point. This is huge. The coaches aren't looking for raw physicality anymore. They already know he has that. They're looking for, believe it or not, technical boredom.
Boredom.
Yeah. You want a game where we don't have to call his name? You want to see clean coverage, perfect positioning. We need to see him trust his technique so he doesn't have to scramble, make a tackle 5 yards downfield.
So moving from tackling the receiver to playing the ball.
Exactly. Or if he does make a play, it needs to be a pass breakup, getting a hand on the ball, or, the holy grail, an interception.
Right. The physical tools are there. They're undeniable.
But the gap between being a great athlete and being a reliable starter is just that one word: consistency.
It's clearly growth season for the kid from LaPlace.
It is.